Hi guys and gals, how are you? Shane Stevenson for 29 and 29. And for today's video, this is going to be, as often happens, a video that starts off as one thing but then evolves into a different topic and a different subject. And so that's what happened with this one. Originally, this video was going to be about the Galveston and the Topeka. Now the Galveston CLG 3 and the Topeka CLG 8 kept their turret 61 and 62 along with the Mark 51 twin 5-inch. That is different than the cruisers, the guided missile cruisers sandwiched in the middle. That would include the Little Rock, the Oklahoma City, the Providence, and the Springfield. And so I was going to kind of show the different architecture that would have been here or changed. Alright, so I'm standing in the officers' country on Little Rock. They would have kept their Mount 62 barbette running through the ship. Now why is that? Because ultimately they were designated as not flagships, not cruiser guided missile cruiser flagships. So if I was to show right here behind me, and it's a little dark, is the barbette for turret 61. And if you can imagine, and I've done a video about this before, certainly not a barbette like you'd find on the BBs, but still pretty imposing, of course. Now if I'm walking aft, this is where the second barbette would have been for turret 62. So we can imagine on the Galveston and the Topeka, it would have been here. If I was to go down to third deck, it does reappear. And here it is. And I'm sure you've seen this before, and if you've been here, certainly, because the tour route walks around it. So it's there on the third deck, but on the second deck, it disappears to make way for officers' spaces and officers' staterooms. What does remain are the hoists, right? Now converted into the 5-inch. Here and here. But what this video kind of turns into is why they weren't chosen for a flagship, as opposed to just the ship architecture. Now, why is CLG 3, CLG 8 not chosen? Right, so I have my notes here. All right, so if I'm looking off, you can see that it's kind of another dense video. Hopefully you enjoy it. So, again, just an overview, the 6 CLGs, 3 for Galveston, 3 for Providence class. The major difference, Talos Terrier. CLG 3, 4, 5 gets the Talos, CLG 6, 7, 8 gets the Terrier system. So again, with the austerity programs, military budgets shrinking, they said, okay, we do want to convert using the new 3T guided missile technology. We do want to convert some cruisers. There's discussions about the Baltimores, and certainly you see that with the Boston and the Canberra being converted Baltimores, the heavy cruisers. Then you have to say, okay, well, we can convert Clevelands. There's a lot of them left in the mothball fleet. And because of the austerity program, they said, let's use flagships that are already designated as flagships. And at the time, that would have been the 3 Terrier cruisers, or what became the 3 Terrier cruisers. All right, CLG 6, 7, and 8. So they said, well, if it's already got a command bridge, extra spaces, maybe enlarged radio room, let's use those three as the flagships. Okay, well, now you flash forward, and they're not, right? So Topeka, CLG-8, loses its flagship status, so to speak, and lo and behold, the USS Little Rock and USS Oklahoma City get added. So no for CLG-3, USS Galveston, no for USS Topeka, CLG-8, but yes for CLG-4, 5, 6, and 7. So why did they remove the Topeka and add the Little Rock and the Oklahoma City? And that's kind of where I'm going with this video. If you've watched the 3T and the Operation Bumblebee, hopefully you did. If not, maybe you're familiar with it. There's other videos online about the 3T program, the guided missile program. Because the Talos were the largest and longest and farthest guided missiles, naturally those ships would have the best radar, the most far-reaching radar, the most far-reaching radio communication, inter-ship communication, and fleet-wide ship communication. It would have had the most amount of staff manning those spaces. And so even though they said 6, 7, and 8 should be the flagships, they said, wait a second, if the Talos is going on 3, 4, 5, their system is made to be the farthest reaching systems. And so they said, well, we will take CLG-4 and CLG-5, take away CLG-8. So why didn't the Galveston get a flagship designation? Well, she was the first reconverted, and she was almost ready for shakedown when this decision was made. She was already in the building and converted stage much farther than, say, the Little Rock and the Oklahoma City, and therefore they said, we just got to get her out. Let's test the Talos platform. Let's see, develop training exercises and the capabilities and limitations of the Talos. So they just steamed right along, continued with the non-flag cruiser flagship designation, just to get her out there and to see how she performs. So that's the Galveston. All right, so for the Topeka, again, taking her away, now being the last of the 6 Cleveland cruisers, guided missile cruisers. I don't really have a full answer. I can conjecture and state that when the redesignations of the flagships happened, you had the Boston, all right, not the Canberra, but the Boston heavy cruiser was a flagship. Then you had Little Rock, then you had Oklahoma City, then you had Springfield and Providence. So that is, from the guided missile cruisers, you have 5 flagships. Certainly for the numbered fleet system at the time, you could have 1 in each, a backup, and 1 standing station on standby. And so they probably said to themselves, we don't need a 6th, all right? We've got 5 ready to go. So that's kind of how this video turned into, going from one topic to another. I find that pretty interesting. Of course, there was a large discussion between the 6th and the 7th Fleet, what they would each need in a flagship, expanding CIC, expanding radio, creating the nuclear strike spaces. Are those tactical or strategic spaces? Is there a tactical officer on board that's on the admiral's staff, the flag staff? So all of that, you can go right down the well with all of that stuff. We won't do that here, but I'm hopeful that you enjoyed this little video about thoughts as to why CLG-3, CLG-8 did not get flagship status. And so they would have kept their barbette because they would have kept turret 62. Thanks again for all your support. It's really appreciated, and again, I'm enjoying reading all the comments and responding. Here's a little look at our 6-man stateroom. Now you put the, you have the barbette here, you can't have this 6-man. Or you keep the barbette here, you can't have that 6-man. Anyway, thanks so much. Hope you've been enjoying. I've been enjoying bringing these to you. And we'll carry on. Talk to you soon.